What's going on, guys? Welcome to our random video on this channel. In today's video, we're talking about Verizon and AT&T, and of course about some of the other mobile carriers out there, but specifically about Verizon and AT&T and these line access fees they charge customers. Now, someone just posted about this recently on the channel, so I'm going to talk about it because Verizon and AT&T are not always honest with customers and consumers out there that might be interested in using their company. Now, when you go to the Verizon page here for the quote-unquote unlimited data plan, by the way, link in the description to this page, one line, $80 per month, two lines, $70 each, three lines, $54 each, and for four lines, $45 each. So customers out there could easily be confused because in the fine print on this page, which is in really fine print, it explains the fees. And then it says, when you enroll in autopay. And we go back to T-Mobile. T-Mobile's including all their fees in their plans now, so consumers know exactly what they're paying for. And I think that's good, because when T-Mobile's doing that, they're being honest with consumers. And if you look at Verizon and AT&T, they have a history of doing this. I see a lot of complaints from people who have used Verizon at one time or another, and they're talking about the quote-unquote unlimited data plan before the recent unlimited data plan from Verizon, and they said Verizon added a fee, basically wanting consumers to switch their plan. So rather than tell people, you know what, we don't want you using that unlimited data plan, we're just going to add an additional fee to your plan so you would switch. And that's not right, Verizon, because from what I read, it was like $20. And if you go to AT&T's website, you're going to see for the quote-unquote unlimited data plan, by the way, everyone can use that now. You don't have to be a DirecTV customer anymore. Probably because a lot of people were not choosing to use DirecTV, and AT&T figured it out pretty quickly, but whatever. The point is that for $100, quote-unquote, you could get an unlimited data plan. So how can this change? First of all, Verizon and AT&T, you have to be better in tune with consumers out there. Not just by copying T-Mobile, although T-Mobile has this right. Include all the fees. Stop trying to gain more money from consumers by misinforming them. And just because you put in really fine print that there's going to be additional fees does not mean that you're being honest with consumers, because consumers want to know what they're going to pay. So this is something that Verizon and AT&T are going to have to learn. But the only way they can really learn from this is from consumers and their customers telling them, you know what, you should not be doing this. You should be more honest with customers. And by being more honest with customers, you're going to have that customer loyalty. Now we look at T-Mobile. I was thinking about this more because when we compare these companies, we try to figure out what they're doing. What it really seems like is that T-Mobile was aware of what these other companies are doing, and they said, you know what, when we were charging for that HD video, we have to figure a way to add an additional fee. And that was their way of doing it. And I knew that was wrong. And then you look at Verizon and AT&T. They're just out there doing that all the time. Now, T-Mobile chose to do that for a few months. But from their point of view, which I think they were just trying to do that to gain more money, it's a whole situation with T-Mobile. They're competing with Verizon and AT&T and of course Sprint, but really about Verizon and AT&T. There's a competition going on here in this industry. And companies are doing various things. And I think one of the issues that T-Mobile fans have an issue with, or even their employees, they think the other companies are a lot worse. Which you could argue to a point. But that doesn't excuse you for doing messed up stuff also. And that was my point about creating all those videos about T-Mobile and net neutrality and this whole industry. Because yes, you can have a mobile carrier out there that's doing better things than the competition to a point. But then you can't yourselves try to do additional garbage where it's not good for the industry either. And that's where customers have to actually speak out and say, you know what, this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't add additional fees for HD video. T-Mobile changed that. Now Verizon and AT&T, you guys are messed up for this. And additional fees are not right. And customers are being misinformed. And if you're saying you're honest because you put that fine print out there, that's bullshit. So don't try to bullshit us about it and try to excuse what you're doing. Do better, create better plans, and be honest. This whole nonsense on your page, Verizon, it is a bunch of nonsense. Some of you out there from Verizon, yes, I saw that you guys are watching the videos or whatever. I'm not impressed if you act like this. You gotta be more honest with customers. Although I compared your network to T-Mobile, I never said your company was better as a company. I hope you realize that, Verizon. And the reason why is because when companies like yourselves are not honest with consumers, people out there are spending real money, and they're doing it because they're not informed properly about what they should be spending with your company. Because if you look at this page, and again, this nonsense, you advertise the cheaper price because you want consumers to pay attention to that. But guess what? When people pay attention, they also pay attention to what they're paying additionally. You don't have to sell the mobile data plans like this. You're choosing to do that. AT&T also. And we all knew what was going on with that DirecTV. And then you changed that. But the problem, though, is that some of these companies are creating a lot of nonsense. And then they're reacting to the market. They're not trying to be revolutionaries, because a revolutionary doesn't do something and then see what everyone else is doing and then changes what they're doing. That's not revolutionary. That's called recycling. And the only time recycling is good is when you throw that bottle in that bin so it gets recycled. It's actually good for the environment. But when you guys are talking about these things and you try to market these plans, and then customers are out there trying to figure out how much you're going to pay for their line. And by the way, it was not that simple to figure this out about Verizon and AT&T. Why? Because I'm not really looking at what Verizon and AT&T are doing all the time. So for customers and consumers are out there trying to figure out what's going on, it's not that simple. That's another problem. This page from Verizon, the page from AT&T, link in the description so you could try to figure out what's going on yourself. You're going to see these companies. They try to market the cheaper plan. They try to convince you you're getting a great deal from their company. And then you find out there's additional fees. T-Mobile. I have criticized your company. I criticize you guys a lot. But that's because you guys are doing some things better than the competition. And then you try to compete with the idiots out there who are not always doing things great for consumers. And that's why you might add an additional fee like the HD video, which you stopped. You stopped doing that. And we are going to acknowledge that. That's real talk about them. Just realize, I don't work for any of these companies. I'm sure you guys realize that are in the industry who are watching my videos. I don't work for any of them. Most people out there, they're not talking about these companies like this. They're not. And that's why people are interested in what I have to say about these companies, because you see a lot of nonsense out there. So Verizon and AT&T, stop doing this to consumers. It's not right. And you've been doing this for a while. You know what? If you thought the videos about T-Mobile were interesting, and it has nothing to do with rooting for another company. Obviously it doesn't, because you guys have seen how I talked about all the companies out there. And when we talk about these mobile carriers, we're being honest about their companies, something that they're not doing when they're trying to sell these mobile data plans. But I would like to know what you guys think about all of this. You can post your comments down below. Let me know what you think about those line access fees, or even about some of these companies and what they're doing. And of course, if you like this video, give a thumbs up. I'll see you guys next video. Peace out.